The reason that Nancy Pelosi blocked a stimulus package, not to corporations, but to small businesses, might make you absolutely sick to your stomach. Let's talk about it. So, as everybody knows, that disgusting bailout was passed a couple of weeks back. Now, I understand a lot of people have gotten their measly $1,200. Now, although I'm going to take that $1,200, okay, I'm going to cash that $1,200 out, and I'm going to spend that $1,200. It does not mean the $1,200 was anywhere enough for the average family or the average person. I know some people with kids, and if you're married, you get a little bit more, but even still, right? So, they passed this corporate bailout, and it was largely because of the Democrats' effort. Because, Democrats and Republicans, they never know how to work together. But, hey, when it comes to screwing you over, the constituent, all of a sudden, they're best friends. They really are. When it comes to warmongering, right? When it comes to propping up corporations, defense contractors, big pharma, health insurance industry, they can work together. But when it comes to actually helping the voter, well, you gotta wait. And Nancy Pelosi reminded us of this because there was a stimulus bill that was introduced after the money for the small businesses dried up. Now, can you believe it, right? $400 billion to small businesses initially, and the money dried up after you've literally forced almost every small business in the country to close. Now, corporate money hasn't dried up. I know, surprise, surprise. But small business money dried up. And surprisingly enough, Mitch McConnell and the Republicans actually did something that was decent, which is try and push a rapid response to the small business loan money drying up. So let's check out what Nancy Pelosi's reason for initially blocking this was. It says here that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi defended the Democrats' request for an expanded bill to address the gaps in her initial $2.2 trillion coronavirus relief package as they derailed a $250 million emergency bill for small business loans. Okay, maybe I'm missing something in the report. Let's continue. Mrs. Pelosi said Majority Leader Mitch McConnell pulled a political stunt by moving ahead with his unanimous consent request Thursday morning without negotiating with Democrats. She said there needed to be a conversation as Secretary Stephen T. Mnuchin requested $250 billion in 48 hours. There's no data. What? Ladies and gentlemen. Y'all, what the no data. I'm confused. I'm confused. Because when y'all, the House of Representatives, fast-tracked an 800-page bill that almost exclusively benefited corporations, right? With everyone else is a transactional relationships. Eventually, you will have to pay your mortgage. Eventually, you will have to pay your rent. Eventually, small businesses will have to pay their loans, and it's still speculated. There's still speculation that eventually you will have to pay back these tax credits. That's what the word on the street is. So every relationship was transactional in that bill, except for corporations who just got a bunch of free money. You passed that bill by unanimous consent with a voice vote in hours. Hours. Hell, based off of the precedent that you have set, 48 hours is plenty of time to review a small bill of $250 billion for small businesses. But if you listen to the crux of her argument, she made it clear why she blocked that money. Because it was introduced by a Republican. Because the Republicans, in this particular instance, had the audacity to do what small businesses have been requesting for the last week and a half to 2 weeks. Listen, my wife has gotten email after email from her old job that they've been requesting more money because the funds have dried up. They dried up a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. A lot of businesses have been sending out, anyone who works in a restaurant or works in a franchise, a lot of you have probably been getting these emails that they're asking for more money, and they requested that the government allot more money to small businesses. The data is there. The data has been there. The data that the money is dried up has been there. There was no data when you gave corporations money. The only data that y'all needed was that the stocks dropped. But people are being fired. The unemployment rates are ridiculously high, and you need more data. If you had 48 hours to read legislation that can make sure someone has a paycheck in their account next week, food on their table next week, the check to pay for their kids' daycare next week, to pay for that car note next week, to pay for that insurance next week, to ensure that one less employee gets fired next week. 48 hours to read that damn bill shouldn't be much. But because the Republicans introduced it, ladies and gentlemen, because the Republicans introduced it, it's problematic. Because I know what she wasn't looking for, let's be honest. It's not like she was holding up a stimulus package to the small businesses to get rid of the pork barrel, the pork barrel that will inevitably go to corporations. We know she wasn't doing it for that. It's not like she was holding up this legislation to, make sure that small businesses don't have to pay back these loans. In fact, just deciding, well, we've given essentially grant money to these corporations, so let's do the same for the small businesses, which are the backbone of our economy. We know it wasn't for that, because that would mean that Nancy Pelosi has shown some semblance of integrity that we have never seen before. But you're going to hold up the bill because they tried to give small businesses $250 billion without going through you first, even though you admitted yourself you had 48 hours to go through to follow through with this, to read over this, to review this, but you just didn't like it because she eventually voted, in case y'all didn't know, or allowed the exact same stimulus package to be voted on and passed like 4 or 5 days later. The same thing, the exact same bill, ladies and gentlemen. But because 4 or 5 days has gone by, that's going to take maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks for people to actually see the monetary results of those loans. But in those 4 or 5 days, 4 or 5 businesses, small businesses per city, could be closed down. It don't take much. In those 4 or 5 days, lives can be changed forever. And the only reason that you blocked money to those businesses, like I said, they should be grants, not loans anyway. But that wasn't the reason she blocked it. She wasn't trying to help anybody but the Democrats. That's why she called it a stunt. Because she just didn't want Trump to take credit. She didn't want Mitch McConnell to take credit for giving small businesses what they asked for. The last time I checked, we hold our politicians accountable so that they do begin to do what we ask of them. I thought that's what the goal was for everybody. So you don't want them to take credit for doing something that we asked every politician to do, but you refuse to do as Speaker of the House with a Democrat majority. That's why you're mad. There are so many reasons, ladies and gentlemen, to be mad at Mitch McConnell. There are a plethora of reasons to be mad at Donald Trump. Doing what we asked of them is not one of those reasons. They so rarely do what we ask of them. I feel like in these situations, maybe we should say, I don't know, thank you, I guess. Be appreciative that Mitch McConnell, even if only in an effort to win strategically, decided, you know what, the Democrats aren't going to do it. Fuck it, I'll do it. We'll do it. The part that Nancy Pelosi hasn't figured out yet is that she's too damn stupid to realize that, in an election year where you have one of the worst candidates in history, maybe it's smart to try and shake things up by actually doing what people expect you to do on Capitol Hill. She hasn't figured that out yet, though. So instead of doing what we ask of her to do on Capitol Hill, she has now used her legislative power to try and stop others from doing what we asked them to do on Capitol Hill. This is what we're dealing with. So, I'd love to know what you think about that article and Nancy Pelosi being Nancy Pelosi. Make sure you share the video. Make sure you like the video. Leave a comment below. But always remember, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace. If you like that segment of Mi Casa Su Casa, don't forget to like the video and smash that subscribe button. Want access to members only live streams, behind the scenes footage, and other premium content? Well, you can endorse us on Rockfin Premium, become a patron through Patreon, or you can sign up for the MCSC Premium membership through YouTube. All the links are in the description below. But hey, more than anything else, always remember,
Find your balance.
Find your balance.
Find your balance.
Find your balance. Find your balance.
Find your balance. Find your balance.
Always remember, more than anything else, find your balance.
peace.